much to say about that. Hey, y'all. And we're back. We told y'all we was coming back on Friday with that show review. So here it is. Child. We watched that whole episode and I have so much to say. I got so many questions. I'm so frustrated. I'm just over it.
I'm not frustrated. I do have a lot to say.
I'm over it. And
And
since I'm so over it,
Jazz is not gonna agree with some of my opinion. But this is our way of having a conversation. And I've seen other people, on YouTube have conversations like KC Connection and all that about the show Insecure, but I never seen nobody have a conversation like this about sisters. So with that,
so here we are.
here we are. Here we go. Let's shoot the shit. We gonna talk about the first, the
First, we're
first.
gonna talk about the first thing we're gonna talk about is Andy and Gary. First of all, and I know I said first of all 3 times, but this is how over this I am. Gary is in there with that quack therapist. She trying to give him fellatio, and he like, wait a minute, what's going
And for,
on?
and for those of you that don't understand what fellatio is, that means head. You know what I'm saying? She's trying to give him fellatio. He's like, no, 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 no. What you doing? But
And
but in my opinion, but in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I have the ghetto opinion. He wanted to do that, like, cause why would you get that far and then be like, no, 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 like, dude, like, dude, like, I was looking at Gary like, really, my nigga, just go
like,
ahead and just go ahead and do it.
I'm just saying.
because from because from what Jazz tells me, um, that Gary been cheating on Andy a lot.
Well, to be fair, you can't really cheat on your side. Okay, like she was dating him
Okay,
when he was
okay, wait a
married.
minute. Wait a minute. So I forgot that part. Gary was married. Andy was Gary's side piece. I forgot about that part. Thank you for pointing that out. So you really can't cheat on your side piece. But what I'm saying is he Gary's wife is crazy.
Gary's wife is in jail for trying to shoot him and his fiance in the face. But anyway, back to this thing. Now, I look that therapist. She's a pedo. She used her job to touch on people. That's what she do. Cause none of the couples that see her have success. Every couple that's been in contact with this lady has gotten divorced.
Okay,
All of them.
okay, okay. Well, let me lift this up. Yo, I got my hair done, so it's freshly new. So if my thing fall down, that's why. And I don't feel like taking it down because it's long and luxurious. I will show y'all some pictures if y'all would like to see some. But but that's what these therapists and probation officers do. That's what
She,
they do. That's what they're known for. And if you don't think so, you got another thing coming.
and I feel like, and this is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I feel like Andy is dead wrong for what she's about to do later on in this episode because an attempt to cheat and actually cheating is two different things. Now, Gary defense, Gary didn't do nothing with that lady. He didn't do nothing. Now he may have wanted to, But wanting to and actually doing is two different things. He didn't do
Correct.
nothing.
Correct.
He got her up out of there, and that was that. So Andy walks in, and she goes off on Gary because this lady is in her house, and Gary knows that Andy don't care for this lady, and she looking like, why is she here? Yada yada yada, and she gets into this big argument with Gary, talking about you don't respect me, and storms out. I
Correct.
believe she did that on purpose so she could go cheat with this man, but we gonna get to that later on.
We gonna get to
Um,
that. We that
then we
and
get to the
the I want to talk about the scene with Karen and Zach.
yeah, we gonna get to that. We gonna get to that scene. Matter of fact, we gonna go to that scene now. We apologize for jumping around a little bit, but this episode really wasn't nothing. The scene with Zach and Karen, aka me and him, um, that was so forced, is what that was. And we could have did this for the phone calls. We could have did this for the email.
That's
Like,
how. But like I was telling Jasmine or Jazz, as y'all see, she like to call herself Jazz, but her name is really Jasmine. Like I was telling Jasmine last on when we was watching this episode, or last night, we talked about it last night. He he don't want to get rid of his supply, and the supply is he don't want to get rid of his sexual thing with her.
but whatever it is, it shouldn't be anything if you love Fatima so much. That's how I know Fatima is a rebound. He don't want to be with her, and he just wasting her time. He wasting her time.
No, I don't. Okay,
Zach don't want
so,
to be with
so
Fatima. Zach don't want that. Zach wants to do what Zach Dingling wants to do. That's what Zach wants to do. Zach wants to
and
do
that's what I've been trying to tell you.
you,
He letting
but
this
you,
he
but
letting
you're
this
saying it as
he
if
letting this start. That's what I've been trying to tell you for the last few days. That is what I've been trying to tell you.
this this whole
And I'm gonna let Jess talk, and I'm gonna put myself on mute because I need some water and I need something else. But go ahead.
this whole Zatima thing is not a thing because Zach he don't he don't want to. He don't, because if he did, he wouldn't be entertaining his ex in the way that he's entertaining her. If he really wanted Fatima, if he really wanted Fatima, he wouldn't care about the fact that his ex needed closure. If he really wanted Fatima, Zach wouldn't care that his ex needed closure. It would be all about Fatima, and it's not that. And the fact that he sat up there and lied through his teeth when he told her he didn't love her no more, and how forceful it came out. Come on, man. Like, I could see right through Zach, right? I could see clearly now the rain is gone. I could see right through Zach. And this situation is not over. It's not over. Because Zach heard what Fatima was saying about him. Now, this is what I'm gonna say about that phone call scene with Hayden and Fatima. First of all, that was unnecessary as well. That was stupid. That didn't make any sense. And like, you thought Hayden was just gonna listen and not do nothing. Like, Fatima, I'm gonna need you to get smarter. I'm gonna need you to get smarter, Fatima, because you should have known that it wasn't gonna be that easy. You should have known that. Now Zach probably gonna be all in his feelings because he done heard you say all that stuff. And even though you was trying to set up hating, you ended up playing yourself in the end because now you could lose that over this whole Hayden situation. And Hayden's not even worth going through all this for. Like, he's not worth going through all this for. You going through all this for Hayden for what? Okay, he's stalking you, whatever. Just report him to the police and call it a day. Like, you doing the most for this Hayden situation. And then we get to Preston and Danny, child. If Preston just don't go on and move on from that child and call it a day, because that whole playing them mind games is just repetitive and redundant, and it don't need to happen at this point. And then we get to Calvin and Sabrina. Jesus. Like, they're sitting here having this conversation about Peggy and what Peggy do to him in the bedroom, yada, yada, yada. It goes on and on and on. My thing is, Sabrina, if you can't handle how he is sexually, if you don't accept how he is sexually, just move on. Just move on and call it a day, child. Because trying to conform yourself to something that you're uncomfortable with just to keep a man is not necessary, Sabrina. It's not necessary. You know you're not down with all the stuff that he's down with sexually. You know you're not going to be able to get into all the things he's into sexually. So it is what it is. Just move on and find you somebody else and let Calvin find somebody that's accepting of his lifestyle. Then we get to we're gonna go back to Aaron and these flowers. My thing with Aaron is this: you gonna have to move on because you will never replace Zach in Karen's heart. Sorry, but not sorry. It's just not gonna happen. If you gotta go through all this to convince her to love you, that means she don't. And you don't have to try to get people to love you. People love you on their own. You don't have to convince people to love you. When you have to do that, it's time to move on. It's time to move on at that point. Like, this whole episode was just a mess. And Andy goes to the hotel where Robin is, and they downstairs and they having their little drinks or whatever, whatever. And they talking about what they talking about. Y'all just need to go on and have sex already, cause we know where it's going. That's where it's gonna lead to. That's where it's going. So y'all might as well just go on and get it over with. And I believe, like I said earlier, I believe she got mad at Gary on purpose, just so she could go out and sleep with this dude. I believe that was all in her mind, so she could feel better about sleeping with this dude. Because she could say, well, I was pissed off at my fiance. That was the reason all this happened. And another thing, too, like, how are you still calling this man your fiance when you took your engagement ring off and gave it back to him? I'm just trying to figure that out. I'm just saying.
Well, I feel like I'm gonna have my camera off because my hands is kind of bothering me a little bit. So for the rest of this review, I'm gonna have my camera off. Jazz can keep her camera on, but my hands is bothering me. Um, and y'all know I got carpal tunnel and whatever else.
I'm just saying, like, Andy, you are one of those type of women that talk about wanting respect, but you're not a respectable woman. You're just not. You're
Yeah,
not.
yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. Because how can you want respect but you out here sleeping with married people? That's not, you can't want respect after you sleep with a married man. And I, to be honest, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't blame his wife for going crazy and doing what she did. Now I see why she shooted she shot Gary with them rubber bullets, and he better be lucky he replaced them. And that's, hold up, that's another thing. If you know your wife is crazy, why you didn't divorce the girl?
Like that was
Why you
just
didn't?
that whole thing was just that whole thing was just stupid. And the reason why I say Andy is not a respectable woman is because you out here sleeping with men you barely know. You don't know Robin from Adam, and you about to sleep with him. You think he gonna have any respect for you? No, he's not. He don't even know you, and you're sleeping with him. Like Gary should leave you. He really should leave you because how are you out here sleeping with a man that you know nothing about? He could be setting you up to lose your job. He could be doing anything, and you just out here giving your cookies away to people that you don't even know like that. That's not respectable. There's nothing respectable about giving your cookies away to people you don't really know. There's nothing respectable about that at all. Like like you talk about what Gary does, and I'm not saying Gary is not toxic. Gary got some toxic ways too, but Andy, you hide behind your degrees and your plaques on the wall, but in reality, you're a thought. Like no matter how many degrees you got,
Right.
you're a
No
thought.
matter no matter how many degrees you got, you a thought. Because your degrees don't mean shit. Not to me. They don't mean nothing. You got
Like
all these motherfucking degrees and you try to act like you so classy and you so up here and you're all of this, all of that. You're not classy. You're a thought, which means you being a hoe. Because how are you going to sleep with somebody else's man? Somebody else's man that wasn't yours to begin with.
that's how you got Gary, and then you out here, like I said, you out here sleeping with
and and
Robin.
and and I want to say this: how you get them is how you lose them. Trust me, I'm a living witness. How you get the woman or man is how you lose the woman or the man.
You out here sleeping with Robin, and you don't even know him. You don't know nothing about this man. This man is your whole boss, and you out here sleeping with him, and you don't know nothing about him, and you just out here giving your cookies away. You think that this Robin dude is gonna have any respect for you? I doubt it. And like, how is this realistic, Tyler Perry?
I'll
How
speak
is
to
it?
I'll speak to that. I'll speak to that. It's realistic because that's what actually goes on in real life. Like Andy having these degrees and all this stuff, and she cheating with somebody in her law firm, her boss to be exact, her boss, which I feel like is going to get her into trouble. It's just like on a family that prays. It's just like on the Family That Prays. She was sleeping with that white dude or whatever. He was. They would have their little je ne sais quoi, which means affair in my world. They would have their little je ne sais quoi, and he'll put a bunch of money in her account. But I just wanted to point this out. At the end of the movie, she wanted that white man to stay with her. He got fired from his job, and she was like, "Baby, I love you. I love you. I want to be with you." And he was like, "No, no, I'm leaving."
And she was all like, "We have a child together," and he's like, "Do we?"
Yeah, do we? And the fact of the matter is, the husband that she said that she talked about so bad, I felt like that dude that she was talking about was me. Um, that dude was still giving her money for that child that wasn't his. I don't know if you remember that. He was still giving up money for a child that wasn't his. But go ahead,
Like, back to the episode though.
back to it.
Like I was saying, I have. Let me tell y'all something about me. I have dated a Zach, so I know what guys like Zach are all about. Zach lied this whole scene when he was in that when he was having that conversation with Karen. He lied
He
that
lied.
whole
He
scene.
he lied.
He
He
lied
lied
through his
because
whole.
it was too forced. Because she was like, "Tell me you don't want to be with me no more. Tell me it's over." And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it with a straight face. He couldn't
Because
just be
he
like,
kept trying to say, "Well, in this moment, I don't want to be with you." That's not it, Zach.
That's not the question. She was like, "No, tell me you don't want to be with me anymore," and he couldn't do it. And he kept saying, "At this moment, I'm not in love with you." At this, no, no, and we're like, "Zach, tell her you do not want to be with her," and he couldn't do it. And you know why? And you know why? Because he don't want to mess up his supply, his supply of the put.
He couldn't. He did it when he turned away, but like when he got in her face and was like, "I don't love you no more. I don't want to be with you no more." That was the most forced line I've ever heard somebody say. Like he didn't. You could see the anger in him when he said that. And he looked like when he got in her face, he was getting ready to pick her up and give her that good thing right there on Danny couch.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
hey, that's just my opinion.
yeah. He looked like he was about to pick. He looked like he was about to pick her.
He looked like he wanted to pick her up and make that. Like it was just so it was so like forced. And you could tell that he didn't mean it and this situation is not over. Now I want to talk about Fatima because everybody always talk about how good Fatima is, how much better she is than these women. how she above everything, how Fatima don't play, how Fatima is a woman that don't take no BS, yeah, yeah, yeah. Fatima is one of those women that I talk about a lot on my Facebook. A lot of these overly independent women, that's a result of of trauma. That's what that is. When you're overly independent like that and you try so hard to be independent and you don't need nobody for nothing, that means somebody has hurt you along the way. And you don't deal with that hurt, so it comes out in your personality. And you could tell that Fatima got some issues that she ain't worked on because she tries too hard. She tries too hard. She absolutely tries too hard. Like, I'm a person, I'm gonna let my man be there for me and help me and all this type of stuff. I'm not gonna push him away. She do too much pushing Zach away because of things she has gone through that she has not worked out. And on the preview for next week, which we will review next episode as well, he gonna go in there and before he even says anything, she gonna be like, "You did exactly what you wanted to do, just like every other nigga."
Right.
Like she don't trust Zach. And my thing is, if you don't trust Zach, then why do you want to be in a relationship with him if you don't trust? Like, what
Right.
is why? If you think he
Right.
gonna sleep with his ex and do all this stuff, if you think he gonna do all that, then why do you want him? For what do you want him? Because if you can't trust him, if you think he still love his ex, all this stuff, why are you trying to be in a relationship with somebody that you clearly don't trust? That that don't make any sense to me whatsoever. And if you think he really love Karen like that, let him go then. Why are you hanging on to him if you think he love his ex? You look stupid
Exactly.
on that part
Let him go. If
because
you
you have all these walls up and all of this here. You can't be in no relationship like that.
right.
That's not no relationship. That's a situationship is what that is. And if we're being completely honest, Zach really knows nothing about Fatima, and Fatima really knows nothing about Zach. All they know is what they do when they do it. They don't
Right.
know anything about each other, so it's hard to be in a relationship with somebody that you know absolutely nothing about. That's
Right.
why I be tripping when all you Zatima people be like, "Oh, they so good together. They gonna be such a good couple." Are they? Are they really?
Or are
Or
they
do you?
or are they gonna be toxic for each other? Because that's what
Or,
I see.
or do you just like Zach being with Fatima because he's not with Karen? Are you rooting for Fatima because she's not Karen? Because if that's the only reason, then that situation is not gonna work either.
Right.
Because Zach still has issues
And I
to
want
work
to.
through.
I know Zach got a lot of issues to work through. I want to go to um Danny and who was the other guy?
His name is his name is Preston.
Z- Okay, Danny and Preston. You can accept the fact that he's country. You keep bringing that up. You keep bringing that up. You are so country. You are so country. You are so country. You are so country. And the fact of the matter is, if that's who the man is, that's who the man is. You have to accept people for who they are. That's just
Like,
like if Jazz was dating me and I was country, she would have to accept that. Just like I give you an example. Another example. I'm from 23rd. Don't don't if you from Detroit, then you know where 2030 is. If you're not, then ignore that I just said that. I'm from 23rd. I have some ghetto ways about me, but just accept that.
yeah, he's a little bit ghetto. I ain't gonna lie. But look at where he come from. That's just part of him being who he is. Like he don't mean to be that way, but that's just part of him being who he is. And that's why I accept it because I'm a little bit ghetto. I'm a little bit ghetto myself. You know, I ain't perfect. So that's why I can accept his flaws because I have my own.
She wearing her gray pants, see. Huh? That makes a difference. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. And I feel like Danny, you need to start accepting him. Because if you're not gonna accept him, then you need to move on.
Like it it is what it is. If you
Just
with
like, just
somebody, you gotta accept what comes with them. Because if you can't, then it's not it's not gonna work. Like I can't look at him a certain way and be like, oh well, I can't accept that. No, if I want to be with him, I'm gonna accept it. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Like it's just one of those things where you gotta accept all the bread and not throw the crust away. You know, you she needs to get over the fact that Danny needs to get over the fact that she actually does have a good man. And a lot of people who've been done wrong, when something good come in their life, they have a hard time with it because they've been done wrong so many times. Like they push it away. So when it does go away, they not hurt. That's what happens to people that have suffered that kind of trauma. But at the end of the day, you gotta let the good be the good at the end of the day. You can't just, you know, continue to push it away.
okay.
Like you gotta accept it and let things be good. You can't always look toward the negative aspect. And I feel like Danny is gonna lose Preston because she can't let her past go.
Nope.
She can't let what happened to her in the past go. And I get, like I said before, I get people who have been hurt a lot, they have a hard time with something good because they haven't had a lot of good happen to them. So when it does, they don't believe it. And sometimes they don't believe it so much, they end up losing it.
Right.
Like, he was like that. This guy on the left, he was very similar to Danny in a sense of he didn't understand why I was good to him. He didn't understand if it was too good to be true or whatever it was. Sometimes you overprotect your heart to the point where you start losing people because you got too much of an electric fence around your heart and can't nobody penetrate it. That's what's happening with Danny and Preston, and he's not gonna continue to be pushed away. He's not gonna continue to be pushed away. At some point, you're gonna push him away, and he's not gonna come back. He not. Like you can't continue to push people away and then wonder why they don't come back. Like that's just not. I haven't heard no rain in the forecast. That's just not realistic. You know, but like I was saying about Ralph, he was that way. He's gotten better because my actions have caused him to get better because he realized that, she's really not out to hurt me. She really not going nowhere. She really not going to cheat. She really is loyal. She really does care about me. And once you realize that, you stop with all the second guessing and is it right, is it not right? You stop doing that once you really realize that somebody is really trying to be there for you. And I always tell him when somebody's trying to be there for you in a genuine way, you have to let them. Because they're not going to keep trying if you keep pushing them away. And
Right.
that's the issue with Danny is that Preston is not going to keep trying to be there for Danny if she keeps pushing him away. At some point, he's going to give up and he's going to move on. You can't keep pushing people away thinking they're going to stay there
Right.
because you can only get pushed away so many times. And once somebody understands your pain and understands your hurt, that's all they can do is understand it and know it and acknowledge it. Once they do that, you can't keep using your pain to push people away.
Right.
Because when they don't come back, you can't get upset because you did that. You allowed your past trauma to affect your future. And you should never do that.
Like me, for example, I don't trust people. Like I put zero trust in people. But like Jazz told me, you gotta trust somebody one day. And I only like now I'm with a company that is just totally Nigerian. However, I have one staff that I trust, and that's the manager.
But his mistrust comes from his upbringing. And, you know, I I I get it. I understand when you've been raised a certain way. I get that. But at some point you gotta trust because if you don't trust nobody, that probably means you don't trust yourself either. Because you have to exude trust somewhere. Trust has to be shown in some capacity somewhere, either with yourself or with others. Or it could be a combination of both. It really doesn't matter. But you can't go through life not trusting anything because you won't make it far. You 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 just won't make it far like that. That whole thing just don't work. Like you have to. I'm not saying you have to be gullible or whatever, but you do have to kind of let your walls down slightly because to not let them down at all is not gonna work. That's not gonna work in life, period. And anybody that tells you that don't know what they're talking about. Most people
Well,
that most
I
people
know.
that don't trust people are single. Most people that don't trust people are single anyway. And that's why they're single. Because
Right.
nobody's gonna be with a maniac. Nobody's gonna be with a maniac that don't trust nobody, that's going through their phone, that's looking around through their emails. Nobody's gonna be with that. Because nobody don't got time to be with somebody that don't trust them. That's just
Right.
because that's you. Look,
Cause I didn't trust. I didn't trust Jazz. I ain't gonna lie. I was very skeptical because of the last relationship I was in. But let's
he
get
was.
back. Let's get back
We
to.
done got all off topic, but we related to our real lives because a lot of this stuff you can relate to your real life. So it's it's one of those things to where it's important to watch these shows. Now, don't take everything in these shows to heart, but it be a lot of messages in Tyler Perry shows.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of real life from these shows.
Yeah, and from his movies too. But
You know,
take out the meat and spit out the bones. I forgot who's
people,
that. Uh, well, I'm gonna say Food Junkie. This guy on YouTube named Food Junkie. He used to say that all the time. I used to watch him. Shout out to Food Junkie.
but people talk about, oh, well, why can't we have one successful relationship on this show? Why can't we have one successful relationship? You know what? We can't have that because that don't sell. Tyler Perry's trying to sell you toxicity. Toxicity sells on TV. As unfair as it may be, it sells. It's no different than reality TV. All the couples on Love and Hip Hop and all these shows, their relationships are toxic. You know what that does? That gets ratings. That's why Tyler Perry does the stuff that he does. And the man is a genius, really, because he made money off people's toxicity.
Yeah,
Now,
I mean,
now, if
look
you're gonna
at.
say he wrong, if you're gonna say Tyler Perry wrong,
Then you
then
need to.
Jerry Springer wrong, Maury Povich wrong.
Yeah,
Like, if you're gonna call Tyler Perry out for making money off toxicity, then you gotta call out Jerry, you gotta call out Maury, you gotta call out all these shows that been on for years that make money off of people being toxic. It is what it
right,
is.
right.
It's a business. It is what it is. You wanna go on TV and act a fool? Okay, you gonna capitalize on it.
Yeah,
Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's your choice to go on there. And
right,
nobody got no gun to your head making you go on TV.
right.
Like like for Jerry, for instance, you know before you go on TV that your man is sleeping with your cousin. You know that, but you want to be seen and you want to be on TV. You
Another
want,
thing, and another thing I want to talk about as far as Jerry, since we off topic, because aren't we done with the show?
yeah, like everything that happened in this show, we covered everything that really,
Okay,
really happened.
okay. So, but and you know that somebody is gay. You cannot tell me no different unless
'Cause-
they done had unless they done had a sex change. That's the only way you don't know.
But my thing is, all these women go on these shows and they be acting surprised, like, oh my goodness. he kept this from me all this time, yada yada yada. Like you had evidence of him being whatever he is.
Right.
You just wanted to come out on TV. You wanted to come out in front of the world. But you know this stuff. Just like them DNA topics. You know who your baby daddy is, and you know who your baby daddy ain't. And
Now
you
that now that I have to that's where I gotta stop you. That's where I gotta stop you. Because a lot of women they don't half of the women that go on them shows, they don't be knowing who they sleep with.
I mean I'm saying, but you be shocked when you find out the guy you thought was the father, not the father, and all this da da
Because
da.
because because they really think in their head like that this is the one. This is the one.
And then it's not. Just like they just had Lil Nas X on Maury Publish. You know that you know that guy Montero I was telling you about? Why that's Lil Nas X? That's Lil Nas X. That's his real name. His real name is Montero. And like he used what he was going through for a storyline to promote his song. Like he had his song in the show. So Lil Nas X did it the right way because he used what he went through for a storyline for a song.
Exactly.
Like for those of you that don't know, Lil Nas
Lil
X
Nas X.
real name is Montero. And he was recently on Maury Povich about some guy that was married and he was messing with him and yada yada yada.
Lil Nas X was on Mari.
Yeah, that dude Montero I was telling you about yesterday, that's Lil Nas X.
Oh, I gotta look at that.
His real name is Montero.
Okay.
But he basically found out that the guy he was dealing with was married, and that was fine with him. He didn't care about that. He thought that the guy he was dealing with was being faithful to him, and he found out that he was not. But like, how you a side dude and get mad that your dude got other people?
Or
If
how
he
you
said
or how you a side dude and get mad that the female you fucking around with got a side nigga. Like
like you can't like first of all he was married anyway, so you shouldn't have been messing with him anyway. So and then you mad that he wasn't the only guy you wasn't the only guy that he was sleeping with. So you know, he made you a side dude. So how you gonna be mad at why would you think you was the only one when he didn't even tell you that he had a wife? Why why just why would you think that you
right,
was the only one? Side chicks always think they're the only one. Like that's never the case.
right.
And I know that because I've been a side chick before. I knew the dude I was messing with other people. Like
You
I
mean
wasn't like
do you mean that girl with the big eyeballs?
look, that was his girlfriend, whatever she was that week, honey. I knew he was messing with her. I knew he was in a relationship with her. I was not telling him that I wanted to be in a relationship with him. I was just trying to ride it out. I was happy being on the side because I didn't have to get fully attached to him. He the one wanted to pull blown situation. I could have cared less. But again, that's how you be a side chick if you're going to be there. Now, man, you back in this time, I was like 18, 19 years old. Would I do something like that today? Probably not, because I'm grown now. But back then, I didn't care. He would tell me about his girlfriend and the issues that he was having with his girlfriend, just like Andy did with this man Robin. To go back to the show a little bit, she started telling him about Gary. Like, you don't know him. Why you talking to this man about your relationship? That's how they get you by being your sounding board. That's how they get you in the bed. That's how they get you. They get
Right.
you like that all the time. Like, oh, let me listen to her. Let me pretend that I care about what's going on with her. She'll love that. Next thing you know, conjunction junction, what's your function?
Function.
And it's like, look, I've done what she has done with this man on the left. That's how he got me. But
No, no,
it
no, no,
wasn't.
no. No, 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 no.
I'm
That's
telling
not.
the truth.
No, no,
He
no,
gon'
no,
he
no.
gonna lie and say that that wasn't the case,
No,
but we
no,
know it was.
no, no. That's not the truth. I was in a messed. I was in one of the most darkest places in my life.
But
You understand what I'm telling you?
he was. I was telling him about things that was going on with my situation when I met, and he
Correct.
was giving me all this advice and all this money. I don't know this man from Adam. Don't know
Correct.
him from glue, and he is saying all these things. And as a woman, when you hear things that your man don't tell you from somebody else, it make you feel good. It does. I ain't gonna. I, I'm not gonna lie. It does. And I'm not gonna say he he was the reason I left my situation prior to him, but his words of encouragement definitely helped me. I will say that much. So, but with Robin, he a trap. See, mine wasn't no trap. Robin was a trap because he her boss. He about to spread this around the whole office, and it's about to be a big mess.
But we don't know that for certain.
We don't, but we can guesstimate. And in my guesstimation, he about to spread this, and it's about to be hot like fire in my Leah voice. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like, I want to talk about this too. If a woman comes to you that's married and she says that she's uh separated or going through a divorce, please don't believe her till that ink is dry on that paper, because people lie. People lie.
Yeah.
Peop- Same thing for a woman. If a man come to you talking about he's separated and yada yada, don't believe him until you see them divorce papers
Correct.
with signatures on them. And you
Correct.
have to make sure they real signatures because people be forging.
Well, you can't really, as long as it's signatures, believe them.
Like, Like,
Mhm. Yo, we've been on here for 54 minutes. We really like this show, or at least I do. I'm just being introduced. But we'll
yeah,
talk to you.
he couldn't. I'm gonna say this before we go. He really couldn't watch the show because he didn't have cable. But now he has cable services, so we full steam ahead for the rest of the season. This is episode 17. We only have 5 episodes left because they're going to episode 22. And we already confirmed and it's already done that there will be a season 4. So we will be reviewing season 4 from the very beginning. And
Yes,
stay tuned, stay tuned.
yes, we will. Um, yeah. But I hope y'all enjoyed our little shit, our little convo. Like, share, and subscribe.
And we'll see y'all next week for the next review, man.
And see y'all next week.